Hi there! Let's dive deeper into the complete method by ARBAN. Often I get asked, why do we even have to practice the ARBANs, or why especially I love this book so much. And I've decided that this week it's a really big dedication for ARBAN here on Patreon, because I want to tell you and give you more insights about my philosophy, about how to approach this and how to get the most out of this method book. First of all, in music there's many different ways to really make music. Yes, there's different ways to do that. Different continents, you make different kind of music. But the most important part about music is that you want to express yourself. As the artist, you want to convey something, you want to show something, you simply want to express yourself. And often nowadays, we as musicians, we simply struggle to achieve that, to convey what we want to tell the audience. And often the problem is because we don't have the right tools for it. We might have the right imagination for it and we know what we want to do, but we just simply can't because we don't have the tools. The ARBAN's complete method book is really, you can call it the Bible for it. It really touches on all different technical aspects that you need in brass playing, especially in trombone playing. And it really refines all these different basics so that on stage you can then convey and you can then express yourself through the instrument. So that's why it's so important for me personally to always work on this book and always work on different exercises, refining my playing. What is really hard when it comes to looking at this book is the necessity and why we need to do so simple things. Often nowadays we look at pieces when there's just quarter notes and we think, oh, this is simple, we don't really need to focus on it, we don't really need to practice it. Well, believe me, this is sometimes the most difficult that you will face. So when it comes to ARBAN, it's really hard to face your struggles, face your fears, but you need to do it. You only can become a better musician, a better all-round trombonist, if you're good at all the fundamental aspects. If you're super talented in one aspect and you just keep refining and tweaking that one and polishing that one, well, all the others suffer. So make sure that you are an all-round trombonist and you focus on all these little aspects of the fundamentals and of the basics. So make sure that you face your fears. This is really hard, I know, but you're in a safe space, safe environment in your practice room. There's nobody judging except yourself. That is sometimes the most difficult aspect about trombone playing and about practicing, because you always constantly judge, and yeah, it's hard. It's really hard sometimes. We can be really hard on ourselves, but you're in a safe environment, so face your fears, face your struggles. Only then you can become a better player. The ARBANs is a really good guide on that road to success, so that's why I like the structure of it. I've chosen for this week in particular one exercise that we will work on together, which is exercise number 17, which starts on page 18 and goes into page 19. All quarter notes starts on a B flat. So what is really important, before the playing part begins, you need to have the right mindset. You need to be there mentally. You need to know why you're doing this. If you just waste your time and you forget about all the general concepts of playing while you play this, you play with a bad sound, you don't really care that all the notes start consistently, etc., then it's absolutely pointless. You wasted a lot of money buying this book, you're wasting your own time when you just approach it without really thinking about it. So make sure that you have the right mindset before you start. There should be a goal in this, there is a purpose, and try to find that, try to think about that before you even play. I always, before I play any kind of exercise, I look at the exercise, I try to see certain patterns, see the scale, see parts of an arpeggio, see sequences, see these fundamental aspects that will help you analyzing the piece before you even have to play it. Then you won't be so overwhelmed when you actually play it. And then do not forget, when you approach this ARBAN, again, make sure that you do not forget about the basic concepts. You always need to take a good breath. That's number one. If that's not in place, you can't produce a good sound. Then, make sure that your posture is calm, is natural, is relaxed. Then, play with air. Play with your best possible sound. Focus on intonation. Focus on slide coordination. Try to work on your consistency of articulation of each of these notes. Do not stop the air from note to note. There's all these basic concepts that you need to bring into the ARBANs. Yes, we are refining them here, but do not forget about them. So often I walk through schools around the world and I hear students practicing, and I hear them practicing these very exercises that I practice myself every day as well. And I hear them play, and I clearly hear that there is no real goal in this. They don't see the purpose why they do that, and they just kind of do it half-minded. It's not really beneficial for them. So make sure that you really think before you play. So that's why today I'm just going to think, talk, and not play. Tomorrow we'll talk. We'll play, sorry. But please do not leave the video now just because I told you that I'm not going to play. There's much more important information coming your way now. So, the first step, as I said before, is the inhale. When I look at the piece, I normally play the first pitch. Here it's a B flat, low B flat. That way I can get that into my head. Da. And then I just go ahead and try to sing it. Da, 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 da. Already when looking at that and when singing that, I already determine so many little details. I determine how hard I want to articulate that. I determine how long I want the note to be. I determine how the note should end. So all these things you can already determine in your brain, or while singing, or while whistling, or while just thinking, or while just analyzing away from the horn. There's no need to focus on that when you play them. So have the right mindset going into the exercise. This exercise particularly I'm going to approach similar to tuba mirum. Ta, 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 ta. Clear front of the notes, then a good sound and a good sustain through the note, but making sure that it's really, there's always a certain flow to it, but really a clean and consistent articulation. I'm going to approach this exercise the exact same way. Sing through every note, but have a good front. So, first of all, take a good inhale. Then you're going to hopefully make a nice sound. Then, secondly, watch your posture. Make sure that when you pick up the instrument, that the instrument comes to your face. You do not bring your neck to the instrument. Often this is happening when we play. We have a bad posture here in our shoulders, in our neck, a lot of tension. Try to bring the horn to your face. Step number 2. Step number 3 comes back to what I just said. Have the right mindset of the front of the articulation. Ta, 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 or da, da, da. I always work with just 2 articulations. There's a hard one, ta, and then there's a lighter one, which is da. There's so many different variants of those around in the world. There's a T, there's a pu, there's a pa, there's a li, le, lo, le, pa, ne. So many different articulations that people use. I always try to go with the most simple aspect, which is ta and da to me. When I say a word and I start, I'm like ta. When I want to do that lighter, I just do da. I don't go to pu or pa. It just makes me a little bit confused. That's just my personal feeling and thought about that. If you have different feeling, if you want to work with all these different variations of articulations, please do. All I care about is how it sounds on the horn. But for me, it's ta and da. Here I use actually ta, ta, ta to have a clear front of the note. Then let's focus on how we want the note to end, which means what kind of air support do we have through the horn, through the note. Ta, 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 or ta, 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 or is it tat, tat, tat? The last one I never do. I never stop the note. I never stop the air. Even if I play super staccato, ta, 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 you can hear that the air still keeps moving forward between the notes. There's no stopping of that. Even though I'm articulating hard and then I'm decaying really quickly on the notes. So again, have the right mindset. Here I'm going with ta, 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 or just go into a breathing exercise. This way you determine already all these little details before you go to the horn. You don't need to work on this on the horn. You don't need to waste your time on the horn doing this. Simple breathing. Or shorter. Or sustained. Etc. So have the right mindset. And then look at the patterns, figure out the scales, figure out where you need to go with the positions. What helps me is always having a certain breathing pattern. So I tend to go, either with phrases or always 2 bars, or, necessarily sometimes 1 bar if I need to breathe often, but have a certain pattern that helps your body to also establish a good feel on this. And then when you get to playing, produce the best possible sound. Make sure that your intonation is correctly and that your slide is on time. But these basic concepts are really crucial that you not forget about them once you approach the ARBANs. So often we waste our time doing it. So again, face your struggles. Only then you can become a much better trombonist. And then have the right mindset. Look at the exercise before. Try to find out the purpose, why you're doing this. Establish a goal, what you want to achieve, and then go for it. But first step, having the right mindset. All right, I see you tomorrow for the next insight. Bye-bye.